All right, everybody, welcome to episode 85 of the DOD-Cast. Today, I got Gabbie with me. Gabbie, say hello.
Hello, world.
Hello, world. Melrose native. You currently go to UMass Amherst. And I'm really excited to have you on today.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
It's been a long time in the making, kind of. But
Yeah.
I know you have a lot, of, things
I do.
and stuff. So I know, one thing in particular, obviously, we're going to get to, some Disney stuff because you spent a lot of time there. But while it's fresh in your mind, I wanted to talk about the Winter Classic. Did you end up working that like you
I
said you were going to?
did. That was my very first day.
All right, so first, what's the job? What's up with all that?
All right. So, for anyone that doesn't know, I just got a job with the Red Sox. I'm a Fenway Park fan ambassador. If anyone's singing the national anthem or throwing out the first pitch, my department would be the ones to escort them onto the field.
Okay.
Because of the Winter Classic, since it was run by NHL and TNT and not by MLB and ESPN or NESN, we didn't really have much control. So it was kind of a nice first day because they were like, we don't really know what we're doing, so just follow along with us.
Yep, you're just one of the many.
Yeah, so we mostly just relocated fan seats. So if someone broke their leg and they needed a handicap accessible seat, we would relocate them to that section. That's what we basically did. And then we would just rotate all different sections. We'd watch the game for a little bit.
I was going to say, how much do you get to watch the game?
Mostly on TV, since we were underneath where the concessions are in Fenway Park. Right. So we would see it on the TV. So we wouldn't watch it in actual person, but it was right there, so we could hear everything that was going on.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I did get to go up there right before the game started. I watched the national anthem. But that's the only part I really got to see.
But at least seeing because they put the ice right on the field, right? Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I know there's some baseball fields near in Medford that in the winter they take the outfield out and basically just make it like an ice rink.
Yeah.
So I feel like that on a grand scale, it's kind of got this old American vibe to it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't watch the opening stuff. I know I watched most of the second and third period, whatever. Game was a game, But I did see, I think Bobby Orr, because I thought you were doing the first pitch stuff. So Bobby Orr, didn't he throw a puck?
Yeah, he did the puck drop. So he just stood there, and then Tim Wakefield, Jason Varitek were also there.
Yeah, I thought he did a first pitch with a puck. Is that wrong?
No, you're right. And then
what was that?
I think that was their interpretation to combine hockey and baseball.
What's your thoughts?
I thought it was awesome that they had all the special guests being at the game.
Yeah.
And it's that was my first day. It was just crazy experience.
It's a really cool first day.
Yeah.
Are you a big sports fan? Would you consider yourself a Bruins fan of any, what would you say?
I would say I'm more of a Red Sox and Patriots fan. Red Sox more because of the history and because of Fenway Park. Since it's an old park and an old team, and my grandfather was really into the Red Sox, so every time we'd go over to their house, they actually lived in Medford. Every time I go to Medford, I would watch the 7-10 games with my grandfather and my grandmother. But I like the Patriots because they play once a week, and it's more special. Yeah, I do respect the Bruins and the Celtics, and if they're on, they're on, but they're not something I really keep up with.
It's hard to keep up with sports nowadays.
It is, especially things are changing all the time. And even the Red Sox I didn't really keep up with, especially since last season they were not that great.
Yeah.
But now that I work with the Red Sox, I'm sure I'm going to be very updated.
Yeah, Patriots got eliminated from the playoffs today, actually. I'm pretty sure
know that.
It just happened an hour ago. We got eliminated officially, which not that it matters too much, but we shouldn't have made it anyway, so it doesn't really, it's kind of irrelevant. But yeah, that's cool. So you got to see did you get to go touch the boards, or were you right up next to it, or were you kind of?
It was just more I was so they took down actually the nets that they have right behind a home plate.
They took those down.
They took those down. Usually it would be for if someone swings a bat and they let go or a foul ball. They took those down because it was just hockey, and so we got to see it very clearly, and we just walked right up to the barricade where the field meets
The stands.
seats. Yeah. So we just stood right there, and then the person I was shadowing at the time was like, take out your camera, like take a bunch of pictures, and I was like, oh, I left mine upstairs.
If I have to.
Yeah. Well.
No.
This is my first day. I'm like, I don't want to keep my phone on me.
Good job.
I kept upstairs, and he was like, why aren't you taking pictures? I was like, my phone's upstairs.
It's like, I thought I was being good. Did they take pictures for you and send them to you at least?
Well, then eventually when we went back upstairs for our break, I grabbed my phone. When we went back out there, I was able to take pictures, and that's where I took pictures during the national anthem and all that stuff.
Oh, okay, that's awesome. That's a lot of fun. What a great first day.
It was a great first day.
Did you have fun? Like, did you feel like you were like, enjoying yourself?
I did, and especially it was comforting knowing no one else really knew what they were doing since it was all NHL, not MLB. So I felt more like, okay, it's okay if I don't know what I'm doing.
You're going to kind of like escort the famous people out, kind of?
Yeah. So the person I shadowed said that he usually is the ambassador to Pedro Martinez. So Pedro, I guess, knows this guy whose name is Gus. He's like, yeah, he knows my name. Like, I escort him out onto the field all the time. So I'm very excited to maybe
meet Pedro fucking Martinez.
Yeah, him, David Ortiz, any of the alumni, anybody like that.
If you met Ortiz, I'd be the most jealous man on planet Earth. I love Ortiz. And I also, in my heart, Pedro Martinez, best pitcher I've ever seen personally. And I'm not a huge baseball guy.
Yeah.
But, like, I love analytics and stats, and it's taken over baseball recently. Yeah. So you can find a stat for anything. And, like, I know there was times when Pedro Martinez was, like, the guy, like, all-time great, which is cool. So it'd be really nice if you could meet a lot of those people. And then, like, even just, like, you know, they have random, like, just famous people pull up to these games all the time. Like, you might meet, like, I don't know, like a Jack Harlow or something. Who knows? Wasn't he at a Sox game recently?
I know that a celebrity stands out. My man who threw the first pitch was Sydney Sweeney. She's on Euphoria and the White Lotus. Yes. So, like, if she was someone who threw out the first pitch, I, in my department, would be the ones to escort her onto the stage, onto the field.
Real?
Meet the stage. That's my Disney terminology coming in.
Okay, so here we go. As we're talking about that, first of all, that's the funniest thing ever. So we were talking about the Disney thing beforehand, and like, can you explain the terminology, or did you, when you got introduced to it, was it like kind of the same thing as I was feeling? Like, wait, like, okay, because that really makes it like an on-off stage type of thing. Like, what did you do? And then talk about that type of thing first.
So I participated in the Disney College program from January to June 2022. It's almost been a year since I went down there, which is crazy to think about because I lived there for 6 months. I did retail on Main Street East in the Magic Kingdom, right in front of Cinderella's castle, which means I was in the stores on the right-hand side. Right. So the stores I worked at include the confectionery, the Town Square Theater, which is where you would meet Mickey Mouse in Magic Kingdom. So
so that's the place.
That was my boss. Like, that's where everyone's trying to meet.
Was
like
Mickey
the big
your
guy.
Boss?
Mickey Mouse is he was my boss. So I currently work at Target as well, and whenever I put out Mickey Mouse merchandise, I feel like he's just following me everywhere. Like, I just feel like he's just in charge. Like, he was the one that was on our pay stubs. Bob Chapek, who was the CEO at Disney at the time that I worked there, his signature wasn't on it. It was Mickey Mouse's. He had his, like, photo, like,
wait, it would say, really?
It's just a picture, like an icon of Mickey Mouse on it. It'd be like,
on your checks?
Yeah, on all my pay stubs. So he was obviously
like you're
my boss.
Mickey bucks, you know?
Yeah, so he was obviously my boss. So, like, I worked in the store where you would meet him, so that was, like, big deal.
Yeah.
And then I also worked in the Town Square Cinema. It's not called the Town Square Cinema. It's just a cinema. And the Uptown Jewelers. So that's where Pandora Jewelers would come in. Their third-party company would sell their jewelers in there. Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
I've never been to Disney World.
You haven't?
I've never been my entire life. Actually, I think maybe when I was like, if I do, I don't remember. I was like 2 or something like that.
So it doesn't really count.
I don't think so. Cause, but I do, like, I love the Disney vibe. Yeah. I don't know. I've watched a ton of Disney movies. Pixar I could name in my top 10 movies, like, favorites. About probably 3 of them are Pixar films. I love Pixar. So I got a special place in my heart for Disney. It sounds like you do/did. So leading into it, what was your expectations going into this Disney internship?
I knew the standards were going to be high, especially at my location. So I try to explain where I work to someone who hasn't been to Disney before. So it's kind of perfect you've never been there, because that's how I try to explain it to people. I don't expect people to know everything about it. So I'm like, oh, I was in front of Cinderella's castle. You know that Cinderella's castle was kind of like the main icon of Walt Disney World.
Yep.
So I could have been anywhere. Disney World has over 20 plus hotels. They have 4 theme parks. There's Disney Springs. There's 2 water parks. I could have been in any location. Usually, most people, college program is in the resorts, and which is the hotels.
Yeah,
and they'll do
There's 20
retail.
hotels.
Over 20. There's over 20.
How many people?
I think it's 26 hotels. I might be wrong.
Oh, but 20 plus is cool.
Yes.
And do you know how many people per hotel?
Oh, God. Like, a lot.
Like, full-blown hotels.
Let's just say a lot, yeah.
All right.
Like, full resorts.
So.
Not like a small little building. No.
And that's where most of the interns go.
That's just for guests. No.
Oh,
that's
saying,
just
like,
for
like
guests.
that's where most of them, like,
college,
work.
Yes. So
okay,
college students usually get placed in the resorts because there's over 20 of them, and then they have retail stores, or you can also be in quick service, so you can work at the restaurants. Like, literally every job in Walt Disney World is available for college students to apply to for an internship. So especially there's custodial as well, so you would clean the bathrooms. And so I was expecting, okay, I'm gonna get custodial probably. I was just expecting the worst, so that when I got there,
as you should,
I wouldn't be disappointed. And somehow, some way, my location was in front of Cinderella's castle in the Magic Kingdom.
The spot.
Which means we open an hour before the Magic Kingdom opens, which is typically, we would open our stores at 7 a.m. Magic Kingdom opens at 8. We are also the only street that would be open an hour after the park closes. Since Magic Kingdom is the main park, we would close the latest. We'd either close at 1 a.m., sometimes 12, really? Sometimes 2 a.m., which means it takes an hour and a half to close the store.
You're not working there like a full day.
Let's say I was closing and I was there till 2:30 in the morning. I would go between either 5 to 7 p.m. Some people have 6-hour shifts from like 8 p.m. to 2:30 in the morning. And that would be a whole shift.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I was so used to working till 1:30, 2:30 in the morning, and I wouldn't get home till like 3:30 because I had to take the bus home, or if I was lucky enough, I'd get a ride home. I did not have my car down there.
Did you get paid?
I did get paid. I got $14 an hour. However, my rent got taken out every week. I was in a 4x2, which means there was 4 bedrooms for 4 people. And then 2 people shared a bathroom. I got $205 taken out of my paycheck every single week.
How much were you getting per paycheck? Like, what?
After rent, I would work between 40 to 50 hours a week. So I would get, if I was a good day, I remember the most I got paid was about $500, like usually $400.
Yeah.
If I was lucky enough, like $350 was the average.
Okay.
Per week, which is like, all right.
Yeah.
However, I was like busting my ass. Like being there until 2:30 in the morning is a lot. And then I'd get home at 3:30 and then I'd sleep till like 2:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Just have to get up and then go right to work again.
Right.
So in Florida, the minimum wage is below $14.
Isn't it like 12?
I'm not sure the correct amount, but it was below 14. So it's kind of like, oh, don't complain, you Disney employee, that you're getting $14 an hour, because that's technically more than most people get in Florida anyways. Because my rent got taken out every week in my paycheck, it just felt like it was just like...
Because, like, when you pay your rent, you don't feel like... Obviously, it takes a big chunk out, but you don't think of that when you're getting your paychecks.
Right.
You know, like, so it kind of gives you a little more freedom, flexibility, like...
It was really nice because I didn't have to worry about rent. It just got taken out. I didn't have to, like, save up after the whole month.
Did you kind of get used to it, maybe, as the months went on? Maybe,
I
like,
did get used to
month?
it. It was just, like, when I would have really bad days, or if I was there really, really late, I just was so annoyed. I was like, I should be getting more than this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing so much, and I don't feel like supervisors are doing the same as we are. We work hand in hand with guests, and you need to make their experience magical. Like,
yeah.
It's Walt Disney World in front of Cinderella's castle.
This
like,
is the place.
It's the standards were incredibly high, which is why I would get worked up so much.
Did you feel like, did they put you there for any particular reason? Did they know who you were? Like, did they know you were a big fan?
Nope.
Because like, most people that apply, are they all huge Disney fans, or do some people just try to do it just because they're like, oh, cool, if we summer in Florida or whatever, or like spring in Florida?
It's mostly the fans, like I am.
Right.
However,
there's just plenty of you.
Yeah. However, but with that said, you have to be 100% committed to Disney in order to work, and especially do the Disney College program, because it's not the most like, it's good on your resume, but the benefits that come with it while you're there, like, you have to just be committed to Disney in order to work there. Mm-hmm. The fact I moved down to Florida for 6 months and I missed my whole spring semester last year, it was worth it. I'm very glad I did.
I was just going to ask you, do you feel like it's worth it?
For me, for people like me, yes. I would never recommend it to somebody who just likes Disney. You have to be, like, passionate about Disney.
What like, kind of started your passion for Disney?
My parents. My mom raised me on Disney. Oh my God, if you step into my house, Mickey Mouse doormat, Mickey Mouse lamp. We go
Mickey Mouse stuff.
Like, no joke.
Yeah,
like,
everywhere.
Blankets, pillows, ornaments, in our cabinet, salt and pepper shakers.
Oh, right.
Cabinet doorknobs, Mickey Mouse. So my boss is everywhere. He's literally haunting me.
My boss is everywhere.
Yeah.
He's getting you.
He's haunting me.
He's everywhere.
Yeah.
Those big fucking mittens he's got on.
Yeah.
Are they mittens? Like, why has he got the gloves on? Committing murders?
Maybe.
Probably.
We don't speak of it.
We don't speak. Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. So it was my mom. We used to go every year, and as me and my brother got older, we would go twice a year.
Oh, really?
Within the past 2 to 3 years, we've gone 3 times a year.
Really? So did they visit you while you were down there?
Yeah. So my mom visited me 3 times within 6 months, which is honestly a lot. My dad came down twice because I moved down there January 14th, 2022. My birthday was February 5th, 2022, and I turned 21.
Oh, it's coming up.
Yeah, it is.
Happy early birthday.
Thank you.
I won't remember, so.
Well.
It's a month away, but still.
Yeah. So my dad came down when he moved me in, and then when it was my birthday, which my grandmother also came down, and it was like my 21st birthday, I did not expect to spend with my mom, my dad, and my grandma.
Yeah, right.
In Disney World, but it was honestly great.
It's still sweet.
It was
it's a different type of good time, but it's a good time.
Right. Me being in Disney gave my mom more of an excuse to go down there. So she was very happy I was down. No, I'm not even kidding you. When I left Disney, she cried because I was leaving. Not because I was coming home.
Yeah,
she was happy.
She cried because it was over. The fun was over.
Yeah, she cried because she was like, oh, now I don't have an excuse
So wait,
to
did
come
you go
down.
so you worked there, so you wouldn't go to the parks with her when she came down?
I did. I got into all the parks for free, which was nice.
Shit.
That's one of the benefits.
That's a big. I was just gonna say
one of the
benefits.
However, Disney, because of COVID, has created a reservation system, so you have to get a reservation to come into the park, and sometimes the reservations were not available for cast members, which is kind of bullshit because it's like,
that's part of
I literally work at the Magic Kingdom, why can't I come here as a guest? That's like going to a restaurant and then being like, okay, you're on the waiting list even though you work there.
That's crazy.
So I would get really frustrated about that, but Disney heard our feedback and was like, yeah, that's not fair. So as time went on, mostly in March, I was able to go to the parks more, especially, and I would meet my family there. So
that's nice. So what would you say is, like, biggest benefits, and what was some of the biggest highlights? Positively? Like, what are the best moments from your 6 months?
Okay, best moments, especially working in front of Cinderella's castle. I did enjoy working past 1 or 2 a.m. because there would be an announcement that would be like, guests are all clear, like, you have the park to yourself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then the music would shut off, and then all of a sudden it's like, the theme park is yours. So I would walk up and down Main Street USA, which is right in front of the castle.
Oh, really?
By myself. No music. I would just look around and I'm like, this is the most Magic Kingdom specifically. This is the most visited theme park in the entire world. And I'm the only person on the street looking at Cinderella Castle. Like, it was just unreal. Like,
that is really cool.
You will never, ever, ever be able to have that experience unless you are a cast member there.
And in that area, probably, too.
In that area specifically. Because
so you're a select few.
Yeah, like, I'm so lucky. Like,
that's
all
really
the
cool.
other areas, if you were in Magic Kingdom and Fantasyland or Liberty Square, you would leave an hour before us because they would close when the park closed.
Mm-hmm.
We stayed open an hour after the park closed, and it took an hour and a half for us to close the whole store and clean it all up after that closed. So we were there the latest.
So you got to go see the whole thing and like doing it by yourself. And like for people that don't understand, like just related to something you love. Like I think the Celtics. Like if I worked at the Garden and I was there late, and then they're like, all right, yep, place is closed. You can, and then like I could just go sit on the court.
Yes.
Like that's what it feels like.
Exactly. That's exactly what it feels like.
Sit on the benches, you know, like so, like you know, places that like most people can't get to, like just.
And imagine not one person being in the garden with you at the time.
It's like almost like
the whole stadium is empty. It's just you.
It's the same thing that you kind of had going. That's really cool.
It was just surreal knowing how much I grew up with Disney and I visited and stuff like that. And I thought I knew everything about Disney before I worked there. And then now that I have worked there, I feel like I didn't know anything.
I didn't hear your answer earlier. But what was the percentage split? Like, what did you feel like you knew beforehand about Disney versus what you feel like you know after, percentage wise?
I thought I knew 100% about Disney World specifically.
Yeah.
That I knew so much, all the history, all the past employees, like the important people. I would say I knew like 50%, and now I know just seeing it hands on is just so different from studying or reading books about it. You just don't know until you're actually there.
I saw this one thing saying there's a lot of pictures of Walt Disney. Obviously, I don't know if it's Disney World or Land or whatever attraction it was. But when there's pictures of him, he's pointing with two fingers like this. And I saw someone say that it was because he was always holding a cigarette. And then they cropped out the cigarette from it and like were doing that. Like I don't know, like you obviously don't hear about that, but like have you looked into any of these things? You know if that's true?
That theory is probably true because Walt Disney died of lung cancer in 1966.
So you know your shit.
I do.
She pulled out a year. Because he died of lung cancer in his left lung, lower left brachialis in 1966 on January 12th. That'd be sick. Wow, good for you, Gabbie.
It was December 15th.
It was December 15th?
It was December 15th, 1966. His birthday is December 5th. He was born 1901.
Wow.
He was 65 when he died of lung cancer.
He was 65?
So, yeah, he wasn't that old.
Wow.
Yeah, Disneyland only opened in 1955, and then he died in 1966. Walt Disney World opened in 1971.
He never saw Disney World.
He never lived to see Walt Disney World, so only his brother Roy did, and his brother Roy opened it October 1st, 1971, and passed 2 months later.
Wow. Roy Disney.
Yeah, this is his brother.
And he was running the shits after.
Yeah. Well, they both funded, like, what is now the Walt Disney Company in 1923, which is why it's a 100-year anniversary now in 2023. They were the two brothers that founded the company.
All right. Interestingly, for me, this is interesting at least. Do you know, like, so I don't know if people are going to find this interesting, but I got to know. So, like, Walt Disney himself, it was his thing. He made up Mickey Mouse. Like, he drew him he was the guy and made like cartoons about it. Was that like what brought him? Because like it's so much bigger than what it is now that it kind of gets lost as to like what even is Disney anymore. Yeah. Obviously we all know Mickey Mouse and them, but like what was he just drawing cartoons and that's just what happened?
Pretty much. So in 1923, him and his brother Roy had their own animation studio. They came up with a character and his name was Oswald. He was a rabbit. That was the original Mickey Mouse. And due to copyright laws at the time, they lost the rights to Oswald.
Really?
And he went over to Universal.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say because I know what that is.
Yeah. And then after Oswald, it was like, what are we gonna do now? That was like our main character. That was their Mickey Mouse at the time. And he was on a train. I'm not sure where, but he was on a train and he started sketching Mickey Mouse. But also
as a conductor.
He was just a passenger.
He wasn't paying attention to his own trains. Like drawing Mickey Mouse as a conductor. Is that that? Yeah, I've seen that flip book, like fake.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there's another one of his animators, iWorks. I don't know if I pronounced that right. They were the two that were in charge of Mickey Mouse. So while he was on that train, he was going to name Mickey Mortimer Mouse. And his wife Lillian was like, that sounds ugly. Like, it needs to be named Mickey. So that's how it came to be.
Wow, thank God, because Mortimer would have sucked.
That's like sounds so bad. Yeah.
Yeah, that's stupid. Thank God.
So that's kind of the story of Mickey Mouse.
You know what's up.
I do. So that's why when I went to Disney, I was like, I know everything, blah, blah, blah. You don't know until you see it. So, backstage, especially.
All right, so now explain the difference. What's backstage? What's stage, I guess?
So on stage is everything guests see. So if you are a visitor of Walt Disney World, go on the rides, you eat in the restaurants. Basically, everything you do on a vacation is on stage. Backstage is kind of like, let's say I work at Target also. You just go in the back room to get more products. Backstage in Disney is that. So where we would clock in, where our break room was, where our bathrooms were.
Where the characters put on the costume.
Yeah, well.
Maybe. Yeah. That's just my theory.
Yeah. That would all be backstage where guests cannot see.
Right.
And they will not see. That's the difference, is what guests will see and what guests won't see. That's off stage. Backstage.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So then, so what would you say is, like, at least the things you can't say? What was, like, the biggest, like, piece of information you learned?
The biggest piece... Disney. Okay, I'm going to talk about Disney merchandising.
Okay.
And I think it blows my mind. You know Anna and Elsa from Frozen?
Yeah.
They are not official Disney princesses.
Right.
Yeah.
I knew that, but I don't know why. Why do I know that?
Anna and Elsa are their own franchise with Frozen because they have Olaf, Sven, and Kristoff. So they have like their own pair of 5 people, and they can advertise products with Frozen. You will typically not see Anna and Elsa with, let's say there's a Disney princess, mural, t-shirt, cup. They will not have Anna and Elsa on it because they have their own franchise with Frozen, which can be marketed and advertised as their own product. Disney princesses is like Rapunzel, Tiana, Snow White, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, Ariel, all this stuff. I know it might not sound that interesting.
No,
however,
but it is. I get it.
I used to stock the products on the floor. So if we were putting out Disney princesses dolls, we wouldn't have Elsa and Anna because they would be the Frozen dolls. So all of our products were split up by Disney princesses and then by Frozen itself. And I did not know the difference until I got to Disney. It might not seem that interesting, but it's interesting to me because I could not put them in the same section, or they'd have to be next to each other. They could not be integrated because they are their own franchises.
I was going to say, is it because Frozen is so...
popular.
It's so big. Like, it did so well that they were able to make another one. And there's 2 Frozens. Am I wrong? I'm right?
Correct. No, you're right.
But I feel like there's other, like, I think, like, who's another Disney princess? Like, I don't know. Couldn't you say Cinderella's, like, its own? Like, there's, like, they've remade Cinderella many, many times. I feel like Cinderella, in a lot of ways, that's, like, the most iconic princess. So, like, it's kind of weird that they feel like those are Disney princesses, and this is, like, you're only Frozen, you're only Frozen, you're only Frozen. There must be a plan.
Yeah, I think because, like, Olaf being, like, the snowman and, like, Sven and Kristoff, just the way that their characters are so unique that they don't need to be associated with Anna and Elsa is the reason why Frozen is so big. You can have Anna, you could have Elsa, you could have Olaf in 3 separate things. They each individually are as popular as the other person. Whereas if you have Rapunzel with her little chameleon Pascal, you probably wouldn't recognize Pascal without Rapunzel. Whereas
Yeah,
the
you
Frozen
wouldn't.
characters, you would.
And if you put that into like, business terms, at least like in terms of products, like if you had a stuffed Olaf versus a stuffed Pascal,
Right.
like
You'd probably know Olaf.
we're all getting Olaf. I'd get an Olaf because Olaf's just a gangster. Even the Sven and what's the other name you said? Kristoff, yeah. I know, I could recognize those and know that they're from Frozen.
Exactly.
Whereas, like, and I don't even know if I ever fully, I watched Frozen. I did watch Frozen one time. Yeah, I was babysitting, so I watched Frozen.
It's not a bad movie. It's actually really good.
It's pretty good, actually.
There's a huge plot twist, and it's crazy. It's
pretty vibes, actually.
Yeah.
It's pretty what's up. I knew Homie was, but whatever. No, some of those, I love the Pixar movies, when the Disney movies, but I grew up in the Disney movies. We had all the VHS tapes in my house, and we'd pop in a new one. We'd pop all the time. That's like kind of what birthed my love for movies in a lot of ways, was the Disney movies. What's your favorite, actually?
Toy Story.
The original?
Yes. Toy Story 1, 2, 3. I don't like the fourth one.
Fourth one was completely different. It was an animation masterpiece, like, in terms of like the art. It looked beautiful.
Toy Story 3 had the most perfect closure ever.
It did. I was so good with that.
I just felt like it was ruined with Toy Story 4.
Unnecessary. It was unnecessary.
It was just more like, oh, we put a Toy Story Land in Hollywood Studios, so we have to keep creating movies so that more people will come, more characters, we can incorporate them into our theme parks. This is just my opinion, but I think Toy Story 3 was so perfect, and it should have ended there.
Yeah.
But my favorite is Toy Story 1 and 2 because it appeals to all age, all genders, any audience. Doesn't have to be just like a little girl with the princess. Me and my family watch it so many times, and we laugh every time Woody's like, "You are a toy," because it's just
you are a toy.
So that
good voice actors
is my answer.
It's funny because they got good actors to be like the voice, like Tom Hanks and Tim Allen, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of funny. I feel like usually they'll try to get someone maybe that's known more for voice. Oh, you don't need to pay that crazy to get like an iconic voice, because it's just like, you're not gonna see them, so it doesn't really matter. But they kind of makes you think of for Dory, for Finding Dory, Finding Nemo, like Ellen kills that low key. And like, I mean, I don't know if she was like a lot of money to get Ellen, like maybe like the second time, but like early 2000s, was it like, it couldn't have been too crazy to get someone like Ellen. She's not as big as Tom Hanks, you know. Like, how much you got to pay Tom Hanks to play a cowboy in some random movie? He was the biggest star in the world probably around at the time. What was that? Was it the 90s?
Toy Story 1 came out in 1995. Wow. The second one was 1999.
Wow, so the second one was out before we were even born.
Yep. And then Toy Story 3 was 2010.
Do you know what that gap's about? Yeah. That happened with a lot of animated movies, I feel like. A lot of things had a gap. I just don't think they were planning on doing... Like, they already had a sequel, which was, like, at the time, really risky. Toy Story 2 was supposed to come out to direct-to-DVD, but because the franchise became so popular, they decided to do it in movies. So I don't think they were planning on doing a third or fourth movie because they didn't think it was going to be successful in the box office. I love the third one. Third one's my favorite.
I cry every single time. I've never been able to watch it without crying. That and Up.
I was just about to say.
Been able to watch those without crying every single time.
But Up, it's like, they ain't even saying nothing when I'm crying. It's like, I just watched their whole life go by, and it's just like,
you just cry. Like, it's just sad.
It just makes me want to cry. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? What the fuck's going on right now? Like, yo, this shit's stupid. Like, yo, let's put on something else. That's me when I'm watching Up.
I'm never like, let's watch Up. No, I will never say that.
Because you can't. You can't. Because you just want to cry.
If you're in a really bad mood.
If you're asking to watch Up, you're asking to cry. So, yo, let's all cry together. You might as well just say that. Because fucking Up is crazy.
Exactly. It's like, oh, you want to watch a masterpiece, maybe?
Yeah.
But if you want to watch something casual, don't watch.
Don't watch Up. Yeah.
Do not watch that movie.
You have to be very in like a vulnerable moment in your life to watch some Up.
Yeah.
When I first watched it, it caught me so off guard. Everything. Like, I wish I could watch it for the first time again. Because I remember watching that montage. That's what gets me, at least personally. That's like the part. And I'm just like, oh my god, it's all happening. It's
Mm-hmm.
and like, then like the tears come, like literally just tears. And I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
why am I crying at this fucking animated movie right now? And I think that was the movie that definitely gave me like the perspective of like, oh, Pixar does something completely different than like.
Yeah.
This is why I love Pixar movies more than Disney, because like at least like
It
I know
is
they're
better.
technically the same, but like they let them do their own thing, because it's just the quality of them and like the story they tell is so fucking incredible every time for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
It's really really cool. I've always been a big fan. Do they have like entire sections in Disney World of like just Pixar stuff?
Yeah.
And do they differentiate it?
Especially in Hollywood Studios, because they have a Toy Story Land now. They have a lot of stuff in Hollywood Studios. But going back to what you're saying about Disney and Pixar, I love Pixar too, because that was originally its own company without Disney, and then it was purchased by Disney in 2007. But it was able to have its own company before it came into Disney, and I think they still drive the same way as they do, even though they're owned by Disney. And like they introduced 3D animation on computers, and now Disney adopted that animation.
Was Toy Story the first?
It was.
That was the first 3D animated movie?
It was, yeah.
Wow. I did not know that.
And a lot of people did not think that it was going to be successful. Billy Crystal, who voices...
I know Billy Crystal.
Yeah, he voices Mike Wazowski in Monsters, Inc., was originally asked to be the role of Buzz Lightyear. And he did not think that the movie was going to be successful, Toy Story. So he was like, no, I'm not going to. And then Tim Allen came in. Once Toy Story was such a success, Billy Crystal was like, why did I give them up? And then he was like, I want to do your next project. That's why he is Mike Wazowski.
Really? Wow. Yes. See, like, okay, so you know everything.
See, I thought I knew everything. And then I worked at Disney, and now I do know
What did you learn, though? Like, what did you, like, at least...
That was, okay, the Disney Princess thing, that's just marketing itself.
But that's really cool, because, like, that's,
yeah.
You know, I'm in marketing. So, like, for me, that's, like, really interesting. Like, it's just, like, seeing...
I had no idea
because I understand you need to... Like, they can't be in the same... They're probably not even imaged together much.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah, even having them next to that, I bet they avoid. Because then, like, they're like, hey, just, like, we want Frozen to be its own entity. Because I guarantee you that they got a plan where it's, like, Frozen and, like, these two are, like, their own entire thing. They probably will have movies popped off of Frozen. And then they'll have those, and they'll all be in the Frozen section. And then maybe one day they'll bring them into the... Once they're not doing as well money-wise, they can bring them into the fold. But for now, while it's such a engine on its own, I bet they're like, yo, let's just ride them separate.
Exactly. I think
so it is cool. Really, really interesting.
The thing with Frozen also is that they have Sven, Kristoff, and Olaf. So it's like, oh, you don't need to be a little girl just like Elsa and Anna. You can be whoever you are, and you can like all these characters. It doesn't need to be this princess finding a husband and becoming royalty. I think that's the main difference about Frozen. Also, it's like a sister relationship rather than them trying to find their significant other the whole time.
Yeah. Makes it really pretty that way.
Yeah. Okay, so things I learned. Oh my god. I don't even know. Like, so much.
I have a question for you, actually.
Yeah.
How big was the contract? What do you gotta sign?
What do you mean? Like, just
like,
stuff?
Just like, cause like you gotta, like, just in general, like, to work anywhere, like, you're gonna have, like, what you can't say. Like, how, like, did you read it? Like, how big is it? Like, what are we talking?
You know how you have, like, a code of conduct, no matter, like, even when you go to school, there's that. There was specific paperwork being, like, let's just say there's specific paperwork per thing.
All right.
Before I went there, I had to sign a lot of those, especially
before you went down.
Yeah, so working in Magic Kingdom, being in the underground tunnels, for example, I had to sign a waiver being like, you cannot take pictures down here. You cannot take videos. It's prohibited. You can get fired if you do. So that's just an example, and it would be stuff like that.
Okay.
Basically, and I wouldn't say there was like 3 or 4.
Just to keep the realism alive, really.
Yeah.
Have people gotten in a lot of trouble for that? Like, you know, any examples?
Immediately.
Fired immediately.
Immediately, yeah.
On the spot.
Mm-hmm.
That's really crazy. Mm-hmm. So, do you feel like after this internship, like, would you ever see yourself working in Disney going forward, or like, do you feel like, all right, I've seen what I needed to see, and that's kind of just the end of it for you?
I would like to return to Disney as a higher position than I was with the college program.
Right.
I don't think I would ever work in the parks again. Let's say when I work for Disney again, I want to be one of the executive people who makes decisions. I want to be the person who oversees everything and makes changes. So that's the plan.
So what say, all right, they give you the keys to the Magic Kingdom. Mm-hmm. They're like, yo, Gab, we saw your podcast. we know you got some good ideas. Mm-hmm. Like, what would you do to change?
First, especially college program interns, I would try to raise their pay at least $1. At least. Because the shit they go through, I couldn't have my nails painted. I couldn't have my nose ring in. If you cry, if you're in a bad mood, you have to go backstage. You cannot be on stage. It's just like you have to be a character. Like, although I was not in entertainment and I wasn't a character performer, I still felt like a character doing retail. Because it's like you have to put on this persona. You have to go into work being like, I'm a cartoon character in a movie. You're not like a real person.
You had to do. What were some of the things you had to do? Like, I know you said the bathroom thing. Like, what were some of those?
So every time we went to the bathroom, we could not say, "Oh, I'm gonna go to the bathroom." You say, "I'm gonna go fly a kite."
Like to the how? Okay, wait.
Bro. To your people who are around you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then everyone knows.
Okay, time out.
Yeah.
So to the people around you, like just like your coworkers.
Yeah.
You can't even say like.
You could whisper in their ear, I guess, but it's like Mickey Mouse would shoot me. Like it just with Disney, it's like you need to put on this persona that you are not a real person. You are a person from a cartoon or like a live action film that isn't real. You're not supposed to have your own identity working in Disney. So when you say something like, I'm going to go fly a kite, it's supposed to relate to the Disney universe that you're living in.
All right. Yeah. How about anything else like that? Are there other things? Like if there was an
definitely
issue?
is.
What if there was like an issue? Like if there was like a problem somewhere?
Our code... No, I can't say the code word. There's a code word. If something
Bubbles.
medical, if something medical happens, and we all know the word. So either we would like stand in front and be like, "Yeah, we can't. How can we help you?"
Yeah.
Or we would just mind our own business and be like, "Get back to work."
How many? What percentage of the people? Because I know you need to, if you're going to bring your kid, you have to be an adult to bring your kid. But, like, how many adults would you say pull up to Disney, like, just the adults?
Oh, God. A lot. A lot more than you would expect.
I know a podcast, it's a Disney podcast, actually. It's called
many.
Living the KG Life. She just, she's pretty dope, actually. She releases a lot of really cool stuff. She, like, released, like, a giveaway. She gave away, like, tickets to Disney. And, like paid for your hotel, flight, and everything. It was, like, really cool. It was, like, I think it might have been last year. But I know, like, these people, like, and she has a good amount of followers. I don't know, like maybe like well over 1,000 on Instagram. She has a whole podcast. She talks about like, you know, she loves Disney, loves it. I don't know if she's seen it the way you've seen it.
Yeah.
But she loves Disney, this lady. So I feel like do you treat them the same as you treat the kids for the most part?
For the most part, especially with kids, I think the big difference is I would give kids little stickers. We had these stickers with all the Disney princesses on it. Not Anna and Elsa, but the rest of them.
Right.
The rest of them. And I'd be like, I just talked to Cinderella in the castle, and she told me to give out these stickers for all the princesses I see in the park. And I would give it to them. Whereas adults would be more like, how's your day? What are your plans?
So this is why Disney is so cool. Because, like, you guys really do the shit. And, like, everyone's doing it. Is a piece of it, like, because I know every workplace across America, they're in their mind, they put down the rules. They have like a way that they want the restaurant or the retail Target, whatever it is, run. And they think that like by them setting the standard, everything's going to be met perfectly and everyone's going to be like the best worker ever. But only at a few places do you get that. Disney, Chick-fil-A, my pleasure.
True.
My pleasure. They love it.
Yeah.
But Disney, they do that too. Is part of it like the peer pressure of like everyone's doing it, so you gotta? Is it the love for Disney? Like what kind of gets you? Because you have to do that every day.
It's a combination of both, and it's kind of like if you don't do that, you stand out. You can tell when someone out of everybody is not in it, and you can stand out that way.
Okay.
Yeah, so like people who would say out loud, I'm going to the bathroom. It's kind of like we're all saying we're going to go fly a kite. Like, why are you going to be the one person to ruin it? You know what I mean? Like, we're all fucking saying it, so you should say it too. Like, I think it's people who didn't care also. Like, just this, for me personally, I felt my standards were so high because we were in front of Cinderella's castle. Like, one day,
and you know what that means, you know, as opposed to somebody who might not, like, really care.
I'll tell an example to show how serious this was. Our coordinators were like, we're closing tonight. This place has to be spotless because Good Morning America is coming in tomorrow morning and doing a segment on our specific store that's going to explain all of our products. So this place must be spit spot. Good Morning America was doing a segment on our store on the confectionery. So it's like, oh, obviously I'm going to work harder knowing how high those standards are. One time we saw Disney has a program it's called Run Disney. So if you want to run a half marathon, a 5K marathon, you can sign up for that. We saw a Run Disney commercial getting filmed right outside on the street.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's just like stuff like that. And they're like, yeah, there's a commercial filming outside. Like, be normal inside. So it's like this stuff is on camera. That's why my standards were so high, because I was like, and you also don't know who's gonna walk into the store, because I met Mariah Carey one day in our store.
So what's up with that? Let's talk about that for a second.
So one day there was like so much security outside of our store, and our coordinator said to all of us, like, there's a very important person coming in, don't even look at them, don't even talk to them.
Didn't say who it was.
And I went to my coordinator. I was like, you need to tell me if it's Chris Evans or Zac Efron, because if it is, I'm going to pass out. I was like...
If Chris Evans walked into a place I was in, I would also pass out.
I'd pass out.
That's my hero.
So I was like, just please tell me if it's one of the two. Because Chris Evans actually goes to Disney 3 times a year.
He loves the Disney?
He's an Avenger.
Yeah, but does he like...
So,
well, like, you know...
So he goes... No, he goes all the time. But also it's kind of like... If he goes, there's going to be media around. So
right,
it's like,
so you'll know.
Yeah, so like when he was the voice of Buzz Lightyear in the new movie, they did so much press for that. Because it's like, oh, you're in Walt Disney World. Let's take pictures.
It didn't do that good,
It did not do that good. And I'm going to admit, it's not my favorite movie as well.
I haven't even watched it.
Don't. It's underwhelming. That's my opinion.
I feel like they didn't have a story, you know? Like, that's the problem with, like, doing spin-offs of side characters. Like, you know, you really need that side character to be really interesting. Not funny for 2 seconds. Like, Donkey in Shrek couldn't have his own story. Because he's funny for a couple seconds. That's what his thing is. He doesn't have his own... But they say the new Puss in Boots movie, they say that was really good. That's what I hear, at least. That's what people have been saying. You want to know why? Because Puss in Boots, you know, stupid as it seems, like, for real, there's a lot of intrigue in, like, how the fuck is this assassin cat ninja thing? Like, what does it do? Like, you know, there's intrigue in, like, the way it lives. I feel like one thing that comes to mind is, like, Harry Potter. I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan, but, like, I know a lot of the side characters have a lot of intrigue to them. Like, you could make something about, like, I know Snape or, like, you know, Voldemort, whatever. Like, they have a lot of intrigue. They leave a lot to be said. But I feel like Buzz Lightyear, we knew the shits.
I think the one thing we didn't know was, like, in the first one when he's, like, the Galactic Empire, and you kind of wonder, well, how did he become villains with Zurg?
Yeah,
that was kind of the one question, and it was kind of like, oh, he pretends that he's this real space ranger, but he's actually a toy. Like, what was his backstory? But you don't need a whole movie about it. I just don't think the movie, for how big Buzz Lightyear is supposed to be as an astronaut and as he is, I don't think the movie showcased him as a hero as the toy Buzz Lightyear does. That's so Disney of me to say.
But no,
that's what I think.
I think, I think you had about to say, I feel like what I was thinking, it's not a movie. Like this should be like a 3-part short.
Disney Plus can have a show about it.
Really quick, and it could be much less production. You don't need Chris Evans, pay him all that money, whatever you got paid. Good for you, Chris. But you don't got to pay him all that bread. You can just get somebody, do it, have someone that sounds like Buzz Lightyear, and just go through the story, because that would be fun, and it would be fun to, like, learn that little side story. Yeah. But, like, the whole idea, like, even in, like, you think about, in Toy Story 2, what does he say? They like make fun of like the Star Wars thing. It's like, I am your father, or whatever. Like it's just like it's funny, but like that's kind of the idea. That story is funny. Yeah. Buzz Lightyear, we do not take Buzz Lightyear seriously because it's like a delusion. So it would be cool to see maybe in like even like a 2D animation form, like what that delusion was, like just so we could have some insight, but not more than like 45 minutes of screen. Yeah. Whatever story they built, it just felt it's fake because like. It just doesn't match up, I don't think.
Also, the storyline has a lot of things relevant to 2022. And they say that the story is supposed to take place in 1995 when Andy gets Buzz. And it's pretty clear that it's a 21st century story.
Really?
Let's just put it that way.
Put it that way?
Yeah. Okay. It doesn't seem like it would be something from 1995, which was... That was a plot hole.
All right, wait. So, sorry. But Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So that was an example.
Start from the beginning. Sorry.
So, it wasn't Chris Evans and it wasn't Zac Efron. My coordinator came up to me. He whispered in my ear. He was like, it's not either of them. I can tell you that. I was like, okay, honestly, good. Because Disney... If one of them walked in and I freaked out, I peed my pants, I threw up, I passed out, I'll get fired. Because it's like, you're supposed to treat these people as normal people. They are guests in our store at Walt Disney World. That is how they need to be treated. And that's why I needed to know if it was them, because I was like, I have to go backstage. Because, like, I will not be able to control myself.
Yeah.
So I'm standing at the doorway, and I didn't even expect it to happen. And then Mariah Carey walks in, and she's with all her family. And she had these, like, high-heeled crystal shoes on. But she had black leggings, and she had a black sweatshirt on and a black mask on. Wow. So they were all wearing masks, kind of, like, camouflage themselves.
Yeah. She's so dramatic, though.
With her heels on, with leggings. She's so dramatic. You know who it is.
It's Mariah Carey.
And all my coordinators were like, don't even look at her. Don't even talk to her. But since I was standing right at this doorway and she walked in, I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm going to treat her like a human being. And I was like, hi, how are you? And she waved to me and she was like, hi. Yeah.
I would have melted.
Yeah. Well,
it's Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
Like,
I was just, yeah. So...
I'd start singing Jesus, oh, what a wonderful child to her. I'd be like, yo, you're my childhood. That's everything.
I was just like, hi, how are you? And then her family was there too. And also at Disney, I forgot to mention, I had 3 different costumes. So my costume of that day, I was stocking the shelves. So I was putting out merchandise. Okay. And so I was like kind of fixing things, whatever. And her family actually approached me and was asking me questions about our products. So we had like Rice Krispie treats.
There?
Yeah, she was saying literally
and
right there.
And they were asking you questions and like, you're like, no, so there's
Yeah, so we make home... One of the things we make in the confectionery is homemade cotton candy. So she was standing to the cotton candy machine watching. Her family approached me and was like, how long do these Rice Krispie treats last? Like, actually asking me legit questions. Oh, that's so cute. And I acted like the responsible employee I should have. Yeah, and I was like, well, there's an expiration date on the back, but if you just put it in the fridge after a few days, it expires, like, it's fine. Like, and then one of them, I don't know who her family members were or whoever she was with, if he was even family, but they were like, thank you for letting us know. I know she's going to be back. She has an annual pass. And she was like, yeah, I'll be here in a few weeks. I was like, oh, then when you come back, like, it should be fine. And I just felt so good because it was like, oh, wow, I treated these people like normal people. And that's exactly what I had. I also have to do this with my role in the Red Sox. So when I escort people onto the field who are singing the national anthem, throwing out the first pitch, I told them about the story about Mariah Carey and her family. And I was like, oh, man. I treated them like normal people. I didn't not say hi to them. I did not pretend they weren't there. I was just pretending they were normal people and helped them.
Yeah.
Red Sox love that. They were like,
that's awesome.
This is exactly how you're supposed to treat people when we're having guests, which completely prepared me for the Red Sox role.
Did they give you the fist bump like I did just now?
Pretty much.
Like a verbal fist bump. They're like, that's great.
Pretty much,
and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, so.
That's cool. So, because I wonder, actually, something different. Because you're very good with, like, people in general. Like, you can talk, like, really well.
Thank you.
So I feel like that's one of those moments. I know sometimes I'm in a place where, like, I'm like, oh, wow. Like, they're lucky that it's me. Because, like, imagine if you were, I'm sure you had some coworkers that you felt like if they were in that position, it wouldn't have been that same love or that same type of, like, professionalism.
I don't think anyone would talk to them because all my coordinators were literally like, don't talk to her. Don't even look at her.
Yeah.
And I kind of was like, well, I was only there for 6 months. So I was like, I'm not going to be here forever.
I embarrass myself. Screw.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I'm going to obey the rules, but obey it in the way it should be. Like, treat them as normal people. And that's exactly what I did. And her family approached me and I kept my cool. And I was like, if you have any more questions, just let me know. And then they ended up leaving. But I was like, that's what I wanted to do. And I thought that was respectful. And it was. And
they got the real experience. I bet that you saying hello. I bet that you answering the questions. I bet you're one of the few people that really did it that way the whole day. You know, because every day, fucking Mariah Carey just walked in.
They left the store because people were, like, pulling out their phones and taking videos of her. They realized she was only in the store for, like, not even 3 minutes. So that's why it was so surreal that I got to talk to her family and got to talk to her because they were in the store for 3 minutes before people started realizing it was her and they had to escort her backstage. So VIP people like that. They bring her
backstage.
Yeah, so VIP people like that.
With the kids?
Yeah. They get put backstage because they're going to draw a crowd around everybody. And that's, like, not part of the Disney magic. They want everyone to have their own experience.
You know what I think would be a cool idea? If they, like, obviously, like, if you're Mariah Carey and you're bringing your kids, like, you want to bring your kids around Disney. Like, you don't want to have to, like, separate. But I feel like if they really want to check something out, you should be able to, like, call over, like, I don't know, even someone, like, say, like, there's another Daffy Duck there. You just be like, hey, like, can you walk my kids in and out of here and take care of them while they're in there? Because then Daffy Duck will draw attention, but he won't draw attention like Mariah Carey type of attention.
It's funny you say that.
Walk them around and then get out and then bring the kid to me and we can go do the rest because I can't go in that place right now because I know there's a million people in there.
It's funny you say that because celebrities like that get their own VIP tour guide. So, for example, Ariana Grande's mom and her brother, Frankie Grande, came into our store, the confectionery. I was freaking out. Frankie Grande was in there because he was on Big Brother. And I was just like, I need to ask you questions about Big Brother. But people like that have their own VIP tour guide so that if they had somebody who wanted to be normal and, like, wanted to walk around like the kids, they could go with the VIP tour guide and be able to do that.
That's cool.
Yeah, so...
That's nice. Do people know what the VIP tour guides look like, though? So they kind of know what's up? But it's not the famous person, it's just his family, really.
Right, so, like, Frankie Grande and then Ariana Grande's mom actually came up to the register, ordered, and, like, paid, for real. Like, Mariah Carey had the VIP tour guide pay for everything at the register while she went backstage. But because they were kind of more low-key, they were able to pay themselves. And the VIP tour guide just stood at the side of the store.
Did they wait in, like, a line?
Yeah, they even waited in a line and everything. I was like, this is awesome. And that's how I was freaking out Frankie Grande because I was like, you're on Big Brother. Like, you're not Ariana Grande's brother. Like, you're literally on Big Brother. Like,
did they, like, pay... when they bought things, did it feel different? Did it feel like the money didn't matter to them? Like,
probably.
Because, like, I feel like if I was to, like, watch somebody, like, you ever see the video of Michael Jackson walking around the art museum, walking around that, like, this art place?
I don't think I have.
Yeah, he walks around this place, and, like, everything is $10,000 plus.
Yeah.
And he has, like, 8 guys with him, whatever. Oh, I like that one. Get that. Do you have extra of those? I'll get 2 of those. I like this painting. I want it. I want this pillar. Just like,
yeah.
10,000, 20,000, 70,000. How much is this? How much is this right here? 1 million. I'll have 3 of those. It's like the scariest thing seeing how money can get spent. So I wonder, even like waiting in the line, they're still so normal. Like she's young, like Art Grande is young, but like I feel like someone like Mariah Carey, she just walks around like.
Oh yeah.
Like money isn't even in like her mind. Like at places like that, like Disney, where it's expensive to like civilians, she could legit just buy the whole thing. So like she don't even think about what she's spending.
Yeah.
And I also wonder, like if I were to go to Disney and I was famous, I feel like I wouldn't mind like, I say that now, but I'm not famous. But I wouldn't mind like people coming up to me like almost like that's part of the fun of the day, because it's like it's Disney, it's everyone's having fun, like everyone's smiling, the place is nice, like all the workers are getting walked up to too, like you could get a picture with like The Rock and Mickey Mouse at the same time. I think that'd be cool if I was famous. Like
I
that.
honestly think it depends on the celebrity as well. So, for example, JoJo Siwa was in our stores one day, and she was walking around the park as if she was nobody. She was posting on her Instagram her location, and she roamed the park.
Really?
And you were able to approach her.
Are you there too for that?
I wasn't there. My coworkers were, though. I wasn't working that day. I was really upset. But I saw on her Instagram she was walking around the park, and
like
she came into our...
I have off.
I know. I was so mad. But
I work from 5 to 2:30 in the morning every day. And
to be fair, it was literally the day after Mariah came into the store. So I was like, okay, I just met Mariah. It's fine if JoJo
is that the only Mariah Grande?
The most famous people, yeah. Then I met like some podcasters and like the one you were talking about, the Disney one. Yeah. I met a few people like that. Obviously I know they're kind of like local celebs, but I met the chairman of Disney Parks Experiences and Products, which is like a step below CEO. I was able to meet him. I met a lot of people who are higher up in Disney, so that was really important to me, and that was more nerve-wracking.
Did you know who they were by seeing them?
Yes. I knew this guy, the one I just said. He didn't even have a name tag on, and I knew his name's Josh Tomorrow, and I just saw him. He was wearing a name tag, and I freaked the F out. And the girl I was with, she was like, what the fuck are you doing? They were like, why are you freaking out? And I was like, that's Josh Tomorrow. Like so close to being CEO of the Disney.
It ain't Josh today. That's Josh Tomorrow right there, girl. I'm scared.
And I was freaking out. And then we ended up talking to him, and I got a picture with him and everything. I was able to have a meeting with the manager of public affairs of all of Walt Disney World, and my major is concentrated in public relations. So the fact I was able to meet with the person who runs public relations of all of Walt Disney World, in like the corporate building where you have to get signed in, and it's like high-end security, you could never go in there as a guest, like stuff like that. It was just so important to me, and that's why the experiences was worth it for me, because I was able to make those connections, and I networked as much as I could. I talked to the vice president of Magic Kingdom before. They have Walt Disney World ambassadors, so basically the same thing I'm doing at Fenway, but like as Walt Disney World. I was able to have like one-on-one talks with them and about their career and all that. So
that's really cool.
The people I met who are higher up, I just like, I felt like I did everything I needed to.
Were they nice?
Down there. Yeah, so nice. They were so helpful too. They were like, I was in your position before and look where I am now. And I'm like, I'm going to take that.
Remember me.
No, literally.
Please remember me.
I actually, when I met Josh Tomorrow, I spilled coffee all over myself because I was so excited. And then I go, I just spilled coffee all over myself because I was so excited. So if I ever see him again, I'll be like, I was a girl who spilled coffee on myself.
Hey, it's good to differentiate yourself whatever way you can.
I hope so.
Yeah, that's really cool. What a good experience then. So then you came back and like you missed out on a semester. You said you feel like it was worth it. Maybe not for someone that like is doing it just to do it though.
Yeah, no, don't. Yeah. If you're someone, just be like, yeah, it'll be fun. Don't. No. It would not be worth it. No.
Okay. All right. But like if you're like a diehard Disney.
Yes.
Do you feel like did you walk out like more of a diehard Disney or less? Or like is it just a different like now you've seen behind the curtain, you know? So, like, you know, like a teacher that was a great student that loved being a student, it's like they may be a bigger fan of, like, education now that they're, like, a teacher and they see that side, but, like, they're never going to be, like, the learner that they once were.
Yeah,
now
that's the way to put it.
It's like.
Like, for example, like, I don't need to go back to Disney for a few more years. I have a whole friend group down there, and I would love to see them. that would be the reason I went down to Disney, to see my friends. I don't need to go again on a family vacation for a while. I just know I went on the rides over and over and over and over and over again.
How often were you doing Disney stuff?
Every day. Every day.
Yeah, I'm here. Fuck it.
Exactly. I got it for free when I could, and I was like, I'm going to take advantage of it. So my perspective is different now. I see everything from a business side, but I knew that was going to happen going into it.
Right.
So that's why I don't recommend the college program for a lot of people who aren't passionate about Disney, because...
Hey there. You guys know me as a lot of things, probably like, podcast or friend, whatever that may be. One thing you might not know is that I'm a fucking idiot. So for maybe the 8th, 9th time, I forgot to clear some storage on my phone. So I lost Gabbie's video, which is really the only one that matters, of course. At least the last 30 minutes of it. You can enjoy on Spotify, or just you can watch the rest here. I'm going to put up a picture of maybe I'll just make it go to black, honestly, because I'm embarrassed of myself. Otherwise, keep enjoying the episode. Thank you for watching. And if you see this, or hear this, then, thank you for even getting this far. Okay, back to the episode. Bye.
You are going to have that realization. If you were growing up on Disney and everything, and you do all your research and you want to learn more, I was sick on going family vacations with my family. I was we do the same stuff every time. I want to do something different.
We go 3 times a year.
Yeah, we would do different things, but it's the same area. So I was I want to step it up a notch. I want to learn more. And now I feel I don't need to go back for a while, because I know too much, to be honest.
Go to one of the people work and be like, I gotta fly a kite, and they're
yeah, they're what?
Okay.
Yeah.
It's I'm gonna go into the tunnels. They're
yeah, they're
what would they do to you if you tried? What if you stood up on one of the tables or one of the restaurants? You're there are tunnels that run underneath and around the whole kingdom.
I would get kicked out and not let back into the Magic Kingdom.
I'd get shot in the forehead.
Yeah. First of all, Mickey would be you are my employee. You sign all these documents. So we have you on record. And 2, you're never coming back in the
So
park
is it a lifetime
again.
thing? Or does it expire? Do you not know? Because actually, we just kind of said that.
Yeah. I think that now that I'm not employed with Walt Disney World, it's fine. However...
The NDAs, the non-disclosure agreements, are life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm not gonna say specific words.
Do you know any? Because... What's the worst thing that you can say? Do you know? What's the craziest thing that you can't say? Anything
that I can say? The craziest thing?
Yeah.
I can't. No.
What do you think? Okay, how about this?
I don't know. About Walt's frozen head?
You can't, because they are so out on...
About it. No.
Well, they're so out on that they don't even give you... Because if they gave you NDAs on that, if they gave people NDAs on that, then you'd be basically confirming it.
I can say I've not seen evidence of Walt Disney's head in the tunnels.
But we can also say it was a little cold down there. If there was a freezer...
I did not see Walt Disney's head in the tunnels. And there's no evidence of him being down there.
Wait, what about the other
That's
way?
For Mickey.
That's for
hear.
Mickey.
That's my statement.
Hey, Mickey.
Yeah.
We got nothing.
Not that I know of, no.
But you know what's gonna be funny though? Let's say it is down there. Let's just say just in a what if world where the make believe is real, like Disney would want. If the Neuralink thing comes to play, a lot of these they can reboot the genes and they can get the brain to work again, and his head is chilling there, and they got it, and they do bring him back, they're gonna look like they made a genius move. He was just thinking ahead. LOL, pun intended. Really, he was just thinking ahead of everybody else. He's I know one day we'll get there with how far things have come in my day. So, for now it's taboo, but one day that's going to be the fact. Maybe.
Who knows?
Hey, people
We'll
thought
have to wait
that
and see.
people thought that JFK got killed by one guy. I'm pretty sure, do you know, like, the documents got leaked on JFK of, like, everything that happened to him? Not leaked, they got, like, disclosed to, like, the public. And so, obviously, no one's gonna read through that shit. Because, like, why would me and you see, like, be like, oh, let's look through the documents of JFK's murder and see what's up. Mm-hmm. But apparently, from what I was seeing, like, that people that actually do that shit, they saw, like, the CIA was in on it. Wanted them dead. So, there's more to this world than we know.
Who knows?
Yeah, aliens are real, all types of shit.
Probably.
So, other than... Well, we've talked about Disney for a long time.
I know.
That was good, though.
Yeah, we can, like, change the subject.
Yeah, what else? I know, but there was more we wanted to discuss when you...
Like, I could go on. I could talk about this for, like, 10 hours, because there's just so much.
It was a full 6 months of your life.
Full 6 months. Yeah, I turned 21 when I was down there, which was, like, awesome, because then I was able to buy alcohol when I was there. Which was awesome.
Did you go out on weekends, like, when you were there?
Thursday nights, there's this place called Cowboys in Orlando. Thursday nights, the drinks were $3 for ladies and no cover fee. So we went every single Thursday.
So you made friends down there? Or did you have any you knew that went down there?
I made friends down there, and they're all still there. I knew no one.
They're all still there?
Most of them are still there. They went part-time. A lot of them graduated from college already, and then they're just staying part-time.
That's also scary. Wow.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't want to do that. You'd want to have, like, more of an executive, a higher up position.
Yeah. If I had graduated from UMass already and then did the college program, I think I would have considered staying longer because, like, I'd already graduated. Right. But because I have a job at the Red Sox and I kind of have, like, a plan going forward, and I already did the college program last year, I don't plan on moving back to Florida for a while. But if I did, I'd either be that ambassador that I was saying before, or I would love to be someone to make executive decisions about stuff. Was
the weather just like icing on the cake, kind of? Like, are you a warm weather fan?
I'm going to say no. I'm a New England girl.
Really?
I am a New England girl. Being in Florida, for me personally, ruined the sun for me. So when I came back in June, I usually love going to the beach, and I did not want to go. I was like, I don't want to go. In Florida, you're like, oh, it's nice out every day. I'll just do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow you don't do it.
So, like, the nice out kind of just becomes...
It just becomes your life, and then it's too hot to even want to leave. You're like, I just want to stay inside the whole day now.
Yeah.
So, honestly, for me, I was waiting for the cold months. Like, what I'm wearing right now is me. Like,
this is what's up.
Sweatpants and sweatshirts, I wasn't able to wear them for a whole year, and I was so sad. Like, I was telling my friends, like, I'm so ready for it to be winter. So that
I love sweatpants, sweatshirt. I'm wearing
It's
them
just
right
so
now.
easy. Like, so comfy, so easy. Summer clothes, you just have to, like, have the right body, I guess. Like, winter, you don't have to be like, let me get my winter body. Like, you don't have to do that.
No.
So, for me personally... No, the weather wasn't all that.
I
missed New England so much.
So now...
And that's why I don't want to move back for a while.
With both of those in mind, the Florida life, the New England life, do you feel like you'd want to, like... Do you want to live in New England, like, for your life? Or do you want to move out?
Yeah, I do want to live here for my whole life.
If you... Oh, so, like, do you think that, like, the weather plays any factor in that? Or you just,
100%.
like... I just wanna, so you like having all 4 seasons?
Yes.
The winter, too?
Because it changes things up. It's like, if you have the same season for so long, I feel like there's no change. And it just gets boring. Like,
yeah, at least
repetitive.
We're on our toes. You know, we got something to look forward to, something to look back at all the time.
I can appreciate summer so much more now that we have the cold months. Whereas, like I said... Being in Florida, I was like, oh, I'll just go to the pool any day. And I did. And then when I got back to New England, I was like, I don't want to go to the beach. Like, I just don't want to go. I don't want to be hot. I don't want to. That's never happened. I've always been so down to go out, go swimming.
Yeah.
Like, so down for summer activities. And this summer was, like, ruined for me because I didn't want to do anything outside because of Florida.
And I hope the winter right now is working as a reset for you.
Yeah,
really.
I love it. I've loved it. Like, no one else probably agrees with me. I literally, when it snowed 2 days ago, I was so happy.
Okay,
I was in such a good mood.
I was like, I might have to cry right now.
No, I was in such a good
Someone
mood.
put on Up right now.
I know.
We got to bust it down. Here's all this winter. Right
Yeah.
now. I love the winter, too. I don't know. I think it's more because the holidays around this time.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're past most of them now. But even, like, Valentine's Day. I like just, like, the fun of, like, having a nice holiday. I don't know. It just adds a little bit of flavor to your life. I think it's the same thing you were saying with the seasons. It's like, all right, well, if it's always summer, it's like you don't feel like, in the summer here, you're like, let's take advantage of the warm weather.
Exactly.
And that's like, for someone like me that doesn't love the beach, like, that's an incentive for me to go because I won't be able to go for the next, like, 6 months. Yeah. So, and then the same thing works for, like, if you want to go sledding. Whereas there, you can't even go. Here, it's like, all right, well, it's our opportunity. Like, let's go sledding now before, like, whatever, tubing, like, skiing, whatever. Do you ski?
I don't.
Yeah, I've gone ski either.
Twice.
I've gone twice, I think, as well.
It was fun, but
I had fun, too.
I just haven't gone back.
But, like, what are you going to do? Like, just go skiing? That's what I say.
Yeah.
I got friends that go every weekend.
I don't have equipment to do that, either.
That's another thing. You got to rent. And I don't get the money to do that.
No. I don't, yeah.
Yeah, if you don't get the money to do it, then how are you supposed to do it, That's the same thing. But I golf, though. Golf's expensive.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
It's a very expensive hobby. What are your hobbies?
Besides Disney and the Red Sox.
So here's what I was actually going to say to you. I mean, actually, do you have any hobbies? Let me first ask that question. Let me finish that question.
Why don't you ask me the other question first?
Okay. So, yeah. I was going to say, so this Fenway thing is, work. And then the Disney thing is still work. Like, do you feel like, and then obviously, like, I think you worked at Target, right?
Yeah, I still
work
do.
at Target.
Yeah.
Like, you work a lot, from what it sounds like. Do you feel like, and it's also a lot of different things, do you feel like we're almost out of school? Are you ready to, like, work all the time? Are you ready for work to be, like, what your life entails? Or, like, you still wish that we had more time in school or time off in between, whatever?
I'm going to have the unpopular opinion that I am ready for school to be over. I love UMass. I love being with my friends, going out on the weekends. The transition from going from working full-time at Disney back to, like, homework and schoolwork was harder than I expected. I did not think getting myself to do homework again this fall was going to be as difficult as it was.
Yeah.
I was just like, going to class I don't mind because it's like you're just there and you're like attentive. And then I would work after school and go out with my friends on weekends, and then it'd be like homework would destroy me because it's like I have to be making money to, like,
homework's really the worst thing ever.
It's so bad. It doesn't make any sense. Going to class is fine because it's like, oh, that's one chunk of my day. I know I have to go to. It's fine. And then knowing that after that I have to do work, I used to not mind it, but I think because I'm so used to working now and getting money, I'm like, how is this going to benefit me? Like, at least when I go off to work, I'm getting money for it. Like,
yeah.
So
get compensated for your time.
Before I went to Disney, I loved school. I didn't mind homework. It gave me a priority. Gave me something to structure my day. Now that I went to Disney and worked full time and I still had things to do while I was working, having homework and classes on top of that, my stress levels are, like, extreme. Like, I overwhelm myself a lot. So this past semester was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, adjusting back to that schedule.
So are you a semester behind?
I'm not, which is nice.
That's really
I'm graduating in May. I'm taking
awesome.
the rest of my classes this semester.
Do you have to take 6 maybe, like an extra class?
I'm only taking 4. However,
really? Wow.
I'm taking the prerequisites of a class I was supposed to take before, and I'm taking them all at the same time.
All the prerequisites.
Yep.
Together.
To the class. Oh. Yeah. And I'm taking that at the same time.
I'm doing the same thing. I'm taking a prereq to a bunch of classes that I
Yeah.
need to take as well. They just gotta kind of finesse it. They'll help you out, like your advisors and your guidance counselor. If you're like, hey, I need these classes. I'm going for a digital media minor, so I need to take intro to digital media, of course. But I'm also taking all the other shit that like you technically need that for. But they were like, the guy was like, no, yeah, we need more people with this minor out in the world. So we want you out there as advertising. And I was like, oh, word.
Wait, what's your major?
Marketing.
Okay.
Yeah, so business marketing. Whatever.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know why I wanted to get this minor randomly. It just, I didn't have, all my marketing classes are done. It's like, I don't have anything. And I took all like most of the electives you can take for marketing that I felt were useful. So I was like, all right, so I don't need any of them shits.
Yeah.
I can just take whatever I want. I was contemplating taking like, I don't know, guitar, a piano, a language, something. I was going to have the weirdest semester of my life. Because I thought I only had to take 3 or 4 classes. But then I found out I needed to take 5. And a couple of the classes I had already were digital media planned out. And I was like, you know what? Let me just see what it would take to get this minor. And they were like, all you need to add is 1 more class. And you can get
That's
it.
good. That's
and I was like, 6 classes to be able to say I have a minor. I'm like, this next semester is going to suck probably. But it'll be worth it. I feel like just for a conversation piece in an interview.
Yeah.
You know, you've done a couple of interviews recently, so I feel like you understand. But, like, you're just in an interview, and, like, sometimes they're like, tell me something about yourself. And you're like,
that was me just now.
I like the winner.
That was me just now.
Right.
I worked at Disney.
It's hard. So, like, I think having something, like, for me, I have a lot of shit. Like, I could talk about this.
Yeah.
I started reading. I want to read. I suck at reading. I read like a 2nd grader. I want to read.
I don't even read, so it's good for you.
No, yeah. It's like, it's good for me, but like if you heard me reading, it would be like, it's wildly embarrassing. Like it's like reading the top of this bar right here. It's just like, file. It's just like, yo, dude, you couldn't read fucking file right now? I'd be roasting myself in my head while I'm reading. I'm like, dude, can you really not read right now? Well, when's the last like real full book you read, like as a kid?
I got into reading when COVID happened because there was nothing else to do.
Yeah.
I really liked the book Atomic Habits.
Atomic Habits.
Yeah, and it's basically like a self-help book. Just to
sounds like a paradox.
Yeah. Like to like change your routine and like change your mindset about things. Did
it help you?
Yeah, it really did. I really liked that book.
Atomic Habits.
And
I might have to read that.
Probably the last book I read. Which was 2 years.
That's not that bad.
Ago.
I know some people that haven't read since elementary school.
If COVID didn't happen, that wouldn't have happened.
Since I just started reading this other book, I'm like 100-something pages in. The book I read most recent to that in its entirety was a Magic Treehouse book in 2nd grade.
Nice.
So I ain't like nobody on a high. I ain't even finished this book. If I don't finish this book, I don't consider myself someone that has even read recently.
Anything,
you know?
Yeah.
I gotta finish this one. My goal is to read like 5 books this year. I think I can do it. It's not that hard. Just read.
5 books? I think you can do it.
That's manageable.
I like reading in the summer because when I go to the beach, if I'm like laying out in the sun, I love tanning. That's another thing. Like I love tanning, and then when I was in Florida, I was so tan all the time, so I didn't feel the need to go outside to tan.
That's why I envisioned you. Oh, because I envisioned you being someone that likes to tan. I don't know why.
I'm obsessed with tanning. Hobby tanning.
Well, because why though?
But naturally,
you remind me of my mom. Funny to say, you know. No, and she will sit in the sun all day, every day, reading a book. Actually, she'll sit in the sun all day, every day, and it's just so I don't know, maybe that's why I thought of you as that way. But I guess once you're already tan, like
I'm already tan. I was like, I don't need to go outside longer. I'm just gonna burn at this point.
Yeah.
Because that's why I love sitting outside and going to the beach. Because I'm like, I'm gonna get tanner. I'm Italian, so I was like, just like. Yeah. My full name's Gabriella Merullo, like very Italian.
Gabriella Merullo.
Yeah, so it's just in my blood, I guess. And if I'm already tan, I'm like,
are you fully Italian?
No, I'm part Irish as well.
Italian, Irish, mom Irish, dad Italian.
Dad's Italian, mom's Irish.
Okay. Yeah. Mom's Irish, right?
Yeah.
Right. That's cool. Do you feel like which do you claim? Because you said Italian, so I assume you claim your Italian side.
I do, especially because it's like my name.
Yeah.
But when St. Patrick's Day comes around, which is my favorite holiday, I am Irish.
The most Irish person that I know.
Yep.
On St. Patrick's Day.
Yep.
I feel like that's the way you should do it. And us Irish, we're usually pretty chill about it.
Yeah.
You know, like good luck bringing an Irish person to like the Seven Fishes for like an Italian holiday. Like you can't the Irish don't, the Italians don't really accept the Irish like that. But I feel like an Irish person, they're so drunk on St. Patrick's Day, they don't even know what the fuck's going on. Most of us.
That's me too. So yeah.
St. Patrick's Day is.
It's my favorite holiday.
It's fun. I think it's just like a vibe.
It's my favorite because it's in March and like nothing happens in January and February, and it's like, I know there's Valentine's Day, but I don't celebrate that. So
yeah,
St. Patrick's Day is kind of like the biggest holiday starting from the year. That's why I love it so much.
I like St. Patrick's Day. It's close. My birthday's in April, so I feel like early April. So it's like, usually that means my birthday's around the corner. Yeah. I don't know if that makes sense. Like I feel like it's kind of why I like Thursday more than I like Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's like I like Thursday more because Friday's right there. You know, like Tuesday is the worst day of the week.
I agree.
Monday at least like you just were resting.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like you're fresh.
Yeah.
All the time people are very groggy on Mondays. I think that's overplayed. But then Tuesday, it's like there's nothing behind you and there's nothing ahead of you. Like you're fucked.
Yeah.
Wednesday is hump day, so it's like at least at the beginning of the day it sucks. The end of the day is alright. Mm-hmm. Thursday, it's basically fucking like you're like alright, it's almost over.
Yeah.
Friday, it is over. That's why I think people are moving more towards like the 3-day weekend, but like the virtual. Mm-hmm. Like more people are working like 4 days, and maybe they'll work Friday virtual or just cut back to work entirely. Some people are just working 4-day weeks now, just generally.
Sounds good to me. Sounds
good to me too. Mm-hmm. I don't think we're supposed to be spending this much time at work. You know, you only get really one day.
Yeah.
Like Saturday's the only real day you get.
That's why I got a job with the Red Sox, because I did not want a 9-to-5. Like, I am not a morning person. I like working nights, and I like having a random schedule. That's just my own opinion. But I like having it something different every week. It gives me something to look forward to. It's like a change. I didn't want to go into something 9-to-5 every single day, repetitive, because then I would think, like, what else is there going on? Yeah,
and you like to be kept on your toes, too.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I was interested.
Hence the seasons.
Right. That's why I was so interested in this job rather than a public relations job, because I wanted to have things switch up, like, all the time. Like, yeah, if I work a Saturday or something and people are hanging out, they're probably going to be in Boston. I'm like, I'll go meet you
and just after. The nature of your job, too. It's like, like, you might run into Pedro today. Like, you know, like, that's fun. Whereas my work, I just did an internship over the summer into fall at Axis. It's like a security camera company. And I was a marketing team. And, like, I don't know if you can really, like, you know, just envision what the marketing team is like at a security camera company, but it's not, like, the most ideal content to, like, have some fun. I'm never going to run into Pedro Martinez at Access Communications.
You never know.
You never know. Never say never. I've run into some pretty cool people. I love when I talk to somebody. I think this is probably why I love my podcast so much. I love when I talk to somebody, and sometimes, like, everyone's got such a cool, like, life story.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the line, they did something really cool. Like, I don't know. Do you know the NBA player Mike Conley? Do you know who that is? Probably not.
No. Sorry.
So, it's okay. It's okay. But he was, like, an all-star one year, a couple of years, whatever. He was a good player. Mm-hmm. Mike Conley. And the guy that worked behind me, his name was Mike Conley. Not the same guy, obviously. Mm-hmm. But I was talking to him. I was like, and he's tall, and he loves basketball, this guy. It's just Mike Conley, and the NBA is black, and this Mike Conley is white. So I was talking to white Mike Conley, and I was like, just, you know, obviously if one of the first things that comes up is, hey, your name is the NBA player's name. And he said he was like, yeah, I met him. And I was like, oh, really? He was like, yeah, my sister, for, like, one of my birthdays, got me courtside seats, and it was when we played against his team. And I was sitting on the sideline, and my sister had a poster that said, like, my brother's name is Mike Conley. And Mike Conley sees it, the black Mike Conley, sees it, walks over to him, like shakes his hand. He's like, "What's up, man? Like, your name really Mike Conley?" And he had it already pulled up. He had his ID. He was like, "Yep, Mike Conley." And he was like, "You want to take my spot? My knee kind of hurt and whatever." And he was like, "Nah." He's like, "Come get a shot." And he took a shot like at the warm up, and then like he tells me the story and just like kind of walked away. And I was like, "That is such a fucking amazing story."
Yeah.
That some random guy has, and I feel like there's that's why I like doing this, because like you never really, you with Mariah Carey, I've never met any famous people, but actually no, you know what's funny? I went to a Celtics Bulls game, and I went, like my uncle knows like one of the owners of the Celtics, and so he brought us to like the back where like all the famous people go, and it was a playoff game, a lot of famous people there. And I was going to where the owner sits, because my uncle knows this owner. And he was taking us into, like, this... It's, like, secluded even to, like, the famous people. They just want, like, a little separate area for where the owner is. So I was going into this room, and I'm passing by just so many people that I know of. Jimmy Garoppolo was there.
Oh, damn.
Oh, damn. Nah, for real. I was fucking like, God damn. He looked legit. I was like, what the fuck? Stephon Gilmore was there. Brandon Cooks was there. A lot of the Patriots were there.
Yeah.
The assistant governor of the NBA, his name is Mark Tatum. It's kind of like how you said you met that guy tomorrow.
Yeah.
I met this guy. Yeah. And I was like, oh my god. I'm walking.
Definitely the same thing.
I'm walking through this building.
Yeah.
I'm like, ah.
It's right there.
And then I went into a place that none of them were allowed, and I was like, this is wrong.
That's yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, but everyone's got a cool story.
Yeah. You want to know something crazy?
Yeah.
I also know a Mike Conley.
Wait, what?
He is... My cousin just had a baby, and her dad's name is Mike Conley.
No.
Yeah. So I know it also.
So did she marry a Mike? Wait, your cousin
no, it's her
baby.
dad.
Her dad. So
her dad's name is Mike. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like my uncle. Yeah.
Wow.
I know Kira told you I call one of my aunt's aunt.
Right.
I don't know if she told you that.
See, Kira's been pretty drunk these past 2 days, so I've been getting some, like, she was like, you gotta ask about her aunt that isn't her aunt. And I was like, what does that mean? It's
my grandmother's sister, so it's my great aunt, but I call her aunt. Like, it's not Aunt Karen, it's aunt.
Yeah, no, my great aunt lived underneath me for a long time. We called her aunt. Yeah.
For real?
For real. Aunt Nancy.
In Medford?
In Medford.
Aunt lives in Medford also. But she didn't grow up here,
But that's what the fuck's up, though.
That is what the fuck's up. It's her former husband is Mike Conley.
Wow.
Yeah.
Former husband.
Yeah.
Wow. So
they're grandparents now, and they're like grandparents together.
Oh, they're grandparents
together.
They're
not together anymore.
Oh,
yeah.
My God. I've never thought about divorced grandparents. Why has that never come up in my life?
I don't know.
Think about it. It's common to you, I guess, because like you've seen this now.
Yeah, it actually is, because my dad's parents are separated.
Really?
Yeah. So I get it. So like my actual grandparents.
Yeah, what's that
separated.
like?
They got separated in 2017.
Wait, what?
2 weeks after their 50th anniversary of being married.
Yeah, but what? Can I not ask questions, but can you expound, or like is this like all personal?
I might not go into much detail, but I can tell you surface level things.
I needed it. Yeah, I need.
Yeah, so my dad's parents, my whole family's from Charlestown. My mom's side, my dad's side, they were neighbors, like, growing up.
Right.
My dad's parents were married for 50 years, and 2 weeks after their 50th anniversary, they split up.
They, filed for divorce.
They're just separated. They're not divorced because they're in their 70s. They're like, what's the point of getting a divorce
But why did they separate? Just
me and
is that
my brother. Details? Let's just say me and my brother and my first cousin Anne. We're the 3 grandchildren.
Okay.
We just got old enough that they didn't need to be together anymore. So they were basically together so that they could watch the 3 of us. When we used to go every Wednesday to Charlestown.
Wow.
My grandparents would watch us, and apparently my grandmother wanted to split from my grandfather. When her kids grew up, there was 3 of them. Wow. But then we all came along, and then once I was a sophomore in high school, once we were all in high school, they were like, my grandmother was like, it's time to split up. We raised them.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this. Your
Yeah.
grandma's a gangster.
I know she is.
That is one of the most boss
me
moves
a lot.
I've ever seen in
She's
my
giving,
life.
and then my other grandmother, my mom's mom, had my mom when she was 21 years old. So like that'd
Yeah.
be me having a child right now,
Crazy.
which is not gonna happen.
Which we, where's the wood to knock on? Oh,
I know.
Ew.
Well,
I
don't
you.
need to walk on because I know it's not gonna happen. And she was not with the guy that is my mother's biological father.
Oh, shit.
She did not. They didn't even date. They weren't even boyfriend and girlfriend. So
Wow.
I have like one grandmother who's giving me advice to not settle when she's my age, and my other grandmother's the same way. She's like, I had my daughter at 21 years old, and I still found love 10 years later. She got married to my grandfather, who was from Medford. I was telling you about that last week.
Yep.
They met like 10 years after.
Okay.
And it was my mom's stepdad, and like he was like my grandfather. Like it wasn't like step grandfather, nothing.
Yeah.
So like I have two grandmothers who like have taught me both those things, basically not to settle.
Like, yo, just fucking take your time, sweetheart.
And guess what? They're both from fucking Charlestown.
And they
know what's up.
Yeah, they're tough as fuck.
Yeah, they're tough as fuck. And now my grandmother lives in Medford, so does aunt, and my grandfather was also from Medford.
Yo, your grandmother, I bet that woman's got grudges that people wouldn't believe. Like from like 50 years. Someone probably cut her off one time, like 35 years ago. And she remembered that face, ran into him at a market basket 25 years later and was like, you motherfucker, you cut me off.
It's funny you say that because that was my great-grandmother. And she lived till I was 13 years old.
Her mom?
So my mother's mom's mom.
Okay.
And by the way, they're all from fucking Charlestown. So they're all the same. They're all fucking townies. So basically the same.
Lit.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
My great-grandmother was like that.
Yeah.
Someone 35 fucking years ago seasoned fucking Johnny's Food Master when it used to exist before Whole Foods.
Johnny's Food Master.
Yeah, in Charlestown.
Right.
That's what it used to be before Whole Foods. And she would do that. She'd be like, you fucking bitch. I remember what you did. So I had her till I was 13. So, I have these tough towny grandmothers and my mom. They don't take shit, bro.
Your mom tough too?
Yeah.
Damn.
She has like a poker face. Like she is literally like stone cold.
So this is why you're a gangster.
I guess so.
There's
she's the reason why I worked at Disney, worked at the Red Sox. She was like, do what you love. You never work a day in your life. That's where I got that rep from her.
It's so facts.
Yeah.
It's cool how like, at a point in our lives, like these that's a common saying,
Yeah.
Like, but you learn it from someone. And from the right person, it could mean a very different thing than from somebody else. Like, if I said that to you in this conversation for the first time, you'd be like, okay. And then that would be the end of it. That's your mom.
My mom raised me on that shit.
She raised you.
That's why I've done the things I've done, and I'm going to do the things that I'm going to do.
Yeah. I feel like, I guess that's really cool. So, do you feel like did that, like, phrase really stick out to you? Like,
yeah.
For real?
Like, she taught me that because she was not happy at her job. She only had one job. She worked at Logan Airport, like, her whole career.
That's a fucking crazy.
Yeah.
A lot of stories, I bet.
A lot of stories and not very good ones. So she would tell me, like, don't get stuck in a position that I was in.
Yeah.
And I took it and I ran with it. Moved to Florida for 6 months, and now I'm back. Like,
fucking lived it up, got back. Now you had your fall semester. Do you feel like the comeback from that to your fall semester was similar to that of, like, coming back from COVID? Oh, wait, you were still at Amherst, weren't you?
Yeah, and it was not. It sucks because it's like, oh, I was in Amherst, but I was so miserable. I was, like, not in the right headspace.
Right. A lot of people were fucked up during COVID, yeah. You were not alone. Honestly, for me, I've never been happier, but, like, most people were fucked up. I was just chilling.
During quarantine...
I didn't know that this was everyone's mental breakdown time.
March to May 2020 was awesome because everyone was on shutdown.
That shit was so fun.
I could text anybody,
and
I know they're in their house not doing anything.
It was snow month. Dude.
Like,
It was like everyone had a snow day every day.
Exactly. And
with good weather.
Yes, and that was awesome. I moved back to Amherst August 2020, and I lived there the whole sophomore year, and UMass didn't have in-person classes that entire year, my whole sophomore year. And I wish that I could have said, like, I was in Amherst, I was able to live with my roommates. We tried to make the most of it. No matter how we tried, it was so miserable. We didn't leave our apartment for any reason. None of us had jobs in that fall semester, so we were literally together 24/7.
Getting that unemployment?
No, I didn't.
You didn't bust down the unemployment?
No.
There's like three types of people I feel really bad for in this world. The disenfranchised, those in slavery, and those that were not able to collect unemployment on a weekly basis from the government.
I just didn't feel right because my mom ended up retiring from her awful job that she had, and then she was on unemployment, and I was like, I just don't feel right in collecting unemployment when my mom is.
Yeah.
My mom's fucking unemployed.
That's
she has
real.
to pay a fucking house. Like, she has two kids.
That's
why
I said this recently. I did at least for the first bit of time. I remember I was collecting. I was like, because it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to donate. So I donated some of it. Just
I'm glad.
to make me feel better.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, well, because otherwise this money would be going to someone probably like me that doesn't need it, that won't donate it. So at least I'm a positive of the negatives. You know, it's like being the best of the worst in a lot of ways. But damn, it felt good.
I know.
Well, the best thing was like school. Because school, I don't know if you have to pay a lot for school, but like I do. And like having like that year where you didn't have to pay for like a lot of things, that was pretty helpful. As helpful as it gets. Not like, obviously there's a lot more negatives than positives that then come with COVID, but it was at least it saved me a couple pennies.
Yeah, my friends at UMass, a few of them had collected unemployment. So, but me and my other roommate, her dad was also on unemployment. So we were both like, both our parents on unemployment. This just doesn't feel right for us.
Yeah.
But, people who did, honestly, good thing they took advantage of it.
Yeah, get the bill.
Yeah.
Enjoy yourself.
Maybe I wish I did, but it's fine. The time has passed. So.
Time's passed. Yeah. Past is past.
Nothing I can do about it now.
Yeah, we're looking to the future.
Yeah.
With that, though, how long do you think we've been going for? Just if you were to guess.
An hour and a half.
Hour 45.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, good amount of time. This is a good one. This is a long one.
Yeah, this was a long one.
But we had things that we had to discuss.
And I could keep talking for fucking 10 hours.
So could I, which is an issue. This is why I always feel bad stopping, because, like, I said this with someone the other day on one of the podcasts. A good conversation really doesn't need to stop ever, because if you have two people that have things to say and are listening, you're asking the other person questions, you have your own stories, whatever, then, like, it just always, every conversation gets better and better and more diverse, and you're covering more things, and, like, they're just fun that way.
Yeah.
Whereas, so that's why it's hard for me to, like, really stop. I'm like, yo, like, hey, all right, we got to cut this out right now. Yeah. But, it is an hour 45, and I don't want to, hold the person I'm with forever. And if anyone's watching at this point,
yeah, thanks.
Good job.
To our supporters.
Good job, supporters. Should they follow, like, subscribe, you think?
Yeah, like, subscribe. If you're Alice Blaze, like, thank you so much for
Alice Blaze legit might listen to the whole
thing. She's, like, your biggest fan, like, no joke. She's like, I listened to Haley's full thing, listen to Rachel's, listen to Kira's. Like, she listens to full-ass things.
That's a lot of
Alice,
time.
if you're listening, go you.
Yo, go Alice. She would have done a better job than me. She was asking you some questions before this. I was like, shit, I got to step my game up.
She might have to be your next guest. Maybe. We'll see.
A great idea.
Yeah.
I should just fucking have her come over and just keep the cameras going.
Yeah.
Anyway, did you enjoy your time?
I did. We talked about Disney for quite a long time, but I could keep going, so it's fine.
That's what you love.
Yeah.
And this is not like my episode. This is your episode. It's all things you love. It's who you are. I got to learn. I don't talk about Disney like that. You might feel like an everyday thing. This is a lot of learning for me, so I really love this. This was great. Gabbie.
Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you very much. And bye-bye, everybody.
Goodbye.